They were worried about cold butt. They had to bring the heated.
Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that. What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monte Sports Show. It is Sunday, September 4th, 2022. I am your host, Monte Perez, a.k.a. the Sports Whisperer. We took a little break, took 3 weeks off just to prepare, get rewinded. As you know, we are now going straight through every Sunday and starting next week, every Monday night with A. Marie. Brad Ward will also have a guest on throughout Monday nights. We do the Sunday show at 11 a.m., previewing Sunday football, going over college football the day before. And then Monday night, A. Marie, Brad, and I, we do a 1-hour recap, 6 o'clock Eastern time to 7 p.m. Get you ready for Monday night and Thursday night. I want to thank everyone who's been supporting us. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. We'll get more into that at the end of the show. Definitely give this one a thumbs up and definitely give a subscribe and a like to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel. Make sure to follow me on social media, Monte JP231 on Twitter, and also on TikTok, where we have just about to hit 1.5 million views with the hashtag the full Monte Sports Show. I usually post about 2 or 3 videos a day, sports related. That's all it is. Every once in a while, I'll throw in some fitness stuff. I am actually on I'm at 225 right now. Want to get down to 205 over the next 6 weeks. So I'm really working hard. No more Mr. Big, bulky bouncer guy. I want to be lean, want to be healthier. So I am busting my butt. So I'll post some fitness stuff as well. But again, follow us on TikTok. Over 1.5 million views in little over 6 months. I've been posting videos consistently. We have the best guests all across the country. This week is no exception. I really like Alex George, but I just know this is going to be an annoying, and I'm going to have to show patience because the Mets lost last night. The Braves won. So the Braves are 2 games behind my Mets. And I don't even want to talk about the ass kicking that it wasn't even competitive. Georgia won 49-3. We'll get into that. Bo Nix, I didn't want him starting. We know what he is. When he plays good teams like he did in Auburn, he shrinks. When he plays bad teams, he'll run around. He'll make plays. I don't want them starting Bo Nix the rest of the year, and we'll get into that. So Alex George is going to join us, and then we're going to have George Lopez and Jared Milligan talk about LA sports, and Jared talk about the 49ers. I think it's controversy. I would have never have brought Jimmy Garoppolo back. It's like if you get married, you don't want your ex-wife living with you. This is really what it amounts to, because Jimmy G went to a Super Bowl, went to the NFC Championship next year, and they're coming back with this philosophy that, oh, yeah, but he knows he's the backup. Come on. It's going to tear the locker room apart if the young Trey Lance struggles. You don't think those players, especially George Kittle, who loves Jimmy G, is going to be talking to Kyle Shanahan? And, of course, keep the comments coming. Hello, everyone. Good to see you. Thank you, Andrea, for our TikTok success. Yes, we are in full gear. We are going to be primed every Sunday and every Monday. Okay, before we get Alex on, let's do the good, the bad, and the funny. We start each show with the good, the bad, and the funny. All right, so I know people don't want this, but college football is now is going to have a 12-team playoff. It will be made up of 6 conference championships, ranked highest by the committee with no minimum ranking requirement, and the 6 highest ranked teams not amongst the conference champions. I don't think this is going to make a difference, guys. The only negative I could say, first of all, it's all about money, so you know this was coming. But here's my take on the college football. It's the same teams almost every year. Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Clemson. Every once in a while, you'll get a Texas or Oklahoma mix in there, or a Pac-12 team, like an Oregon. in the recent past. I don't know about this year. Maybe a USC, maybe a Wisconsin, every now and again. But nothing's going to change. The only thing I don't like about this is we saw last year, no disrespect to Georgia. They won the national championship, they earned it. But Alabama got injured. Now, let's say Alabama plays an extra round or two and their starting quarterback gets injured, or Georgia, two of their linebackers go down. I remember when Marcus Mariota was in the college national championship, when they lost to Ohio State, his two wide receivers were injured and his tight ends were out. So that's the only negative I could see. If someone gets injured out of Alabama, out of Clemson, out of Georgia, because they're playing more games now in the postseason, but this was inevitable, right? It was inevitable. More money, more games. This is what college football is all about. I just hope, okay, one of the reasons why college football is so special now, every game means something. When I was growing up, I used to watch college basketball all the time during the regular season. Syracuse, the Big East, Duke, Big Monday on ESPN. They had the Big East, the Big Ten, and the Pac-12, 3 games. Now, college basketball regular season doesn't mean anything. If it doesn't matter if Duke goes 26-4 or 24-7 or 23-7, it doesn't matter because there's too many teams in the tournament. Division 3 does it with there's 32 teams in college football. They do a bracket of 8 on the West, Midwest, South, and East, and then they meet for the college football championship. I hope they don't go to 32 teams. 12 teams should satisfy all the Cincinnati fans from last year. It should get everyone should be happy. So I think this is a good thing. More games, and that's what you want. I love college football. I'm a huge fan. So I look forward to this. Again, I just don't want to see injuries in the first round when Alabama's going to play a Cincinnati and they're going to win 56-10. So that's my only negative out of that. Okay, so that's the good. We start each show with the good. Now let's go to the bad. You've heard of the three wise men, right? We all know the three wise men. Well, this is a new segment I'm going to call the three con men. The three con men in football. And I think I've done over the past 4 years, I think I've been a guest, a host on my podcast, on this show, on other shows, over 500 shows. And I've never cursed on my show, ever. Guests have, and I don't care. This isn't PG-13. You can say what you want. I may curse in this segment because this is how annoyed I am at these three con men. Let's start with one, Urban Meyer. Now, look, I don't care that Urban Meyer has cheated on his wife for decades. I don't care. I don't care that Urban Meyer was in his own bar, and in the back of right in back of him, there's a picture of him and his wife blown up at the 50-yard line of Ohio State, and he's grinding on a younger woman. That is between him and his wife. I don't care. What I do care about is that there are no consequences for Urban Meyer being a scumbag of a human being. Okay? Now, forget about the fact that he's cheated on his wife at every college he's went to. He's hooked up with a college student. I can tell you a story. I'm not going to name any names, but I used to coach college basketball. And I would say that 75% of college basketball coaches and college football coaches have a side woman who's a college student. There was a college coach who was coaching Division III. He was married. He met this woman who was at Division III, a student, started having an affair with him, left his wife, married the woman once she graduated. Then he went to a low Division I school, cheated on his wife with a college student, divorced his wife, married the woman. Then he goes to Rutgers University, becomes the head coach there. What does he do? Cheats on his wife with a college student, leaves her, marries the college student once she graduated. This happens all over. I don't care. I am not a moralist. What you do between you and your wife, or if you want to cheat, if you want to go for someone younger, Leonardo DiCaprio, when someone said there used to be a band called Menudo back in the day, in the 80s and 90s. And when you reach 16, they kicked you out of a band. Leonardo DiCaprio, when his girlfriend reaches 25, he breaks up with them. He dates women from 19 to 25. That's his choice. So I don't care that Urban Meyer's a disgusting, cheating human being. What I care about is he covered up domestic violence at Ohio State, okay, for 5 or 6 years. When asked a few years ago at the Big Ten Media Day, Ohio State coach Urban Meyer said he was unaware of the 2015 domestic violence incident involving former wide receiver Zach Smith and his now ex-wife Courtney. Specifically, Myers told the media, I got a text last night. I knew nothing about it. Then it came out that he's known for years. And before all you guys sit there, oh, you got to protect this, bro. It's a disgusting saying, bros before hoes, whatever you want to say, men before. No, no. If any guy that I know is beating his wife, I'm either kicking his ass or I'm reporting him to the police. I don't care if it's my brother. I don't care if it's my best friend. You don't hit your wife. And Urban Meyer covered this up. Then he goes to Jacksonville. He's threatening the kicker. He's degrading all his assistant coaches. And by the way, again, I don't care that he cheats on his wife. That's between him and his wife. Go look at how many crimes Urban Meyer covered up of his players when he was at the University of Florida. He ran the police department there. Urban Meyer is a terrible human being. And I go to watch Fox pregame show, and who's on the set? This scumbag. I changed it. And again, I'm not a moralist. Okay. There are guys on football teams that I like that are terrible human beings, but it's a team sport. I stopped watching Floyd Mayweather box and paying for him when I found out he was beating every wife and girlfriend he had. I'm not going to put money in his pocket. I'm not going to put money on the Fox Sports game show by watching them when this guy is on TV. Sorry. How many chances can he get? He's a horrible human being. When is he going to be held accountable? Obviously never. Now, speaking of terrible human beings, John Gruden. Again, we're going back to the three con men. John Gruden came out this week and said, "Hey, I'm a good human being. I have a wife that I've been married to for 31 years. I have 3 sons." John, I'm going to quote Chris Rock here. I take care of my kids. Don't give yourself credit, John, for what you're supposed to be doing. If you're married and you take that vow, you're supposed to stay married. You have 3 sons. Big whoop, you reproduced. That doesn't make you exceptional. Forget about the homophobic slurs, forget about the sexism, the racism. All that stuff is his personal makeup, right? But here's what I don't understand. John Gruden, as the head coach of the Raiders, as the head coach, wanted to take away concussion protocols. He wanted to make the game more dangerous. The job of your head coach, first and foremost, is to win games and protect your players. So John Gruden coming out saying, "Oh, I'm a good guy." No, you're not. You wanted football to be rougher. John, stop this 1985 mentality of, women shouldn't be in football. Women shouldn't be on TV talking about sports. You're a Neanderthal, dude, and you're not a good human being. And any player who played under John Gruden, when they see him, should get in his face. You didn't protect me. You wanted to get rid of concussion and safety protocols in the NFL. And finally, the biggest con man of them all, again, Brett Favre. Can we talk about what a douchebag this guy is? Brett Favre, when he was on the Jets, they did an interview, and his father died. He was addicted to painkillers, and they said, "What is your strength?" And he said, in order, my wife is my rock, and then of course God. Brett Favre posts all over social media how he's a Christian. 3 days after that interview, when he was with the Jets, it comes out that he was soliciting and sending penis pictures to the Jets reporter. 3 days after he's praising his wife, she's his rock, she's the love of my life. And forget about that. Brett Favre, I'm sure he's cheated on his wife for decades. But what is he doing now? Brett Favre made $140 million as a player. He probably made another $10 million on those corny ass Wrangler jeans commercials. Brett Favre is now in a scandal that stole, okay, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? This jerk stole $70 million. Okay, there was $81 million that was supposed to go to Mississippi middle class and poor and welfare. Brett Favre is part of a group, okay, that stole over $70 million from Mississippi. Now, here's the governor of Mississippi with Brett Favre. Now, Mississippi is without clean water right now, but there are 2 trucks outside the governor's house, water trucks. Favre took $1.1 million to speak at events, and he never showed up. Never showed up. He took the money. Now, he paid some money back, minus the interest, but a week before this was being made public, I would never accept money for no-show appearances. He lied. Just like he lied when he said his wife is his rock, the love of his life, and he's sending penis pictures and begging this woman for sex. Again, Brett Favre, $1.1 million in 2017 and 2018 to make motivational speeches out of federal welfare funds for families. He said he never did it. Now there's proof that he is. And he repaid, I think, $228,000, but without interest. So again, Urban Meyer, John Gruden, Brett Favre, part of this toxic masculinity. I'm a man. I'll do what I want. I abuse people. I bully people. They're all a bunch of cowards. They're all a bunch of frauds. They're all a bunch of con men. And I can't stand all 3 of them. I can't stand all 3 of them. Okay, so we went a little over here, so we're not going to get to the funny part. We want to bring in Alex George here. Alex came on the show a bunch of weeks ago, and she was phenomenal. I got about 25, 30 emails. As she's getting ready right now, yes, let's look at some of the comments. Yes. Listen, I'm all about, and for all you guys who are going to come at me on social media saying, oh, you're soft. I'm not soft, okay? But I want to make the game safer. I don't want helmet-to-helmet collisions. I don't want my quarterbacks getting thrown to the ground after the play is over. These guys today work out all year round. They're bigger, stronger, faster. So don't tell me, oh, you're soft, okay? Yeah. It's disgusting. It's disgusting what these guys are doing. John Gruden, Brett Favre, Urban Meyer, just disgusting human beings. And they keep getting passes. I don't know. I don't know how you watch Urban Meyer when he covered up crimes, rape, violence, assault at the University of Florida, and these guys keep getting rewarded. It's like John Calipari. I know from coaching coaching how much John Calipari cheated. I saw it firsthand. And he keeps getting rewarded. Everywhere John Calipari is coached, when he leaves his school, they get those wins taken away from them. They get the Final Four gets stripped, and the team goes on probation, and he keeps getting rewarded. I don't understand it. Okay, that's enough of me bitching and complaining. Let's bring on Alex George. Alex, you must be so happy with your Georgia Bulldogs' dominant performance yesterday. How are you?
Go Dogs.
Just okay.
Go Dogs.
It was just a terrible, terrible outing for Oregon. But let's just
It
get
was.
to it. What did you think? Because let's be honest, Georgia only came back, I think, 10, 11 starters, but they didn't miss a beat. Their defensive back, that freshman who made the interception, this team by far is just as good as Alabama right now.
Trust in Bennett. Trust in Stetson as well. I mean, there was a lot of pressure for him coming back from the national championship, like the hungoverness, like all the players that left and got drafted, and he came out there like a rock star and he crushed it. It was a great
Now,
game.
were you shocked at all with the fact that, again, a lot of pressure on Georgia? I thought, if anything, the Oregon coach kind of would figure out a way to limit Bennett because he was a defensive coordinator. He saw him every day in practice. This game
Right.
wasn't even competitive. I shut it off at halftime. I didn't watch. Were you shocked at how easy it was for them to win, or did you expect this?
I knew we were gonna win. But after that first opening quarter, I was just like, okay, we've got this in the bag. Like it wasn't even a good matchup. There was nothing. Like they were just like throwing around their defenders, just running the ball. There was multiple picks. They looked like they were just like a Division II out there school. It's not playing well at all. They were not prepared. They didn't even look like they would be prepared for the game.
It really looked like a glorified scrimmage, like Georgia dominated.
Yes.
It wasn't even competitive. Bo Nix,
No.
I mean, he's terrible. I didn't want them to start him, but that's neither here nor there. So my question to
Yeah.
you is, I wrote in my article for Nuts and Bolts Sports. I mean, Greg got on me because I had I think 31-17 Georgia winning, and he's like, "Boy, you were way off in the score." I knew Georgia was going to win, but I think Georgia can go undefeated this year. I mean, I know the SEC is tremendous, but you look around the league, they don't play Alabama during the regular season. You got to be
No.
super confident with this team. They don't rebuild, they just retool.
It's great because we are in the East, so people do say it's a little bit easier, but we still have to take Florida on the road. We've got South Carolina on the road. Tennessee will be a tough matchup. But I have a feeling it's going to be another Alabama Georgia SEC championship.
I think no matter what, those teams will play in the SEC championship. I'm not a big believer in Texas A&M. Florida had an impressive
No.
win against Utah yesterday. Tennessee, not sure about, if they're ready. And one thing we know, and this is what great teams do, right? The Mets have done this all year, and we'll get to that in a minute. The Mets have the best record against top 10 teams. Georgia, Alabama, they never play down to their competition. How does Kirby Smart? You just come back from winning a national championship. You have the starting quarterback who came out of kind of nowhere last year to take over the reins of this team. How does Kirby Smart keep this team from getting too overconfident and too complacent? Because you never see Alabama, who Nick Saban coach teams, get overconfident and complacent.
I think it's the same thing that Nick Saban has always told them, like, the media is rat poison, as Nick
Right,
Saban would say. And I
right.
think he just got to keep them in shape and just be like, hey, like, this is another year. We have even more to work for this year, coming back as national champions. And I think they all listen to Kirby. He's a smart coach, and he'll keep his guys in check for sure.
Now, Kirby just got a huge contract extension. He's going to be there for a long time. Are you worried? Because one of the things that amazes me, when you see other colleges and their coordinators leave, that team takes a step back. Okay.
Hmm.
Alabama never does. Nick Saban has the highest payroll out of any assistant. He hires former head coaches for the NFL to be the offensive line coach. Are you worried with all the Georgia success and you just lost Dan Lanning that, oh my goodness, it's going to be an adjustment because all these coaches keep getting head jobs, all these assistants that Kirby has?
Well, I saw on the sideline yesterday, Will Muschamp was out there helping him out. So I think people are wanting to work with Kirby now. It's like another Nick Saban situation. Like people are like, okay, Georgia's the best. They're gonna be picking the best players, and they're gonna win national championships. So who wouldn't want to work by side of Kirby, even if people leave? There'll be somebody. There'll always be somebody there to fill out that spot.
Okay, let's get into and I say this as a compliment, your degenerate gambling side. Um, do you bet more on college football, on baseball, or pro football? What do you bet more on?
I took a few bets yesterday. I was really upset with Oregon. I needed Oregon to score at least one more touchdown or one more field goal to hit the over.
Hit the
I was
over.
very upset that they couldn't even do that for me. Um, I am sticking to money lines
Okay.
with football just because I feel confident in that. Sometimes those spreads will get you. But now that college football is starting, I probably won't be betting as much on baseball and just will focus on NFL and college. And then NBA will come, and then I'll just like be hammering overs on the NBA during the regular season.
And you figure, I don't care what the over is. Like you look at North Carolina, Appalachian State, I think it was like 63, 61. If
It
a
was
team
insane.
if a team scores 49 points, you got to figure they're going to hit the over because they're going to give
Right.
up a late
It's awesome.
touchdown.
I love it. I love it.
All right. So
There were so
let's
many
talk.
points
Use your
yesterday.
gambling skills. Monday night, Clemson over Georgia Tech. Does Clemson cover? Because right now, I think it's a 22-point spread.
Yes, Georgia Tech doesn't even know how to play football. They need to just be studying.
Okay. Next one.
It's gonna be a total blowout.
Alabama next week at Texas. Both teams played very bad college football teams as a tune-up.
Yes.
Right
Yes.
now, it's at 14. I think it's going to get up to 17. I think Alabama gives Texas an old-fashioned butt kicking.
Oh, yeah, and I'm gonna be at the game, so I'm very excited. It's
Oh,
gonna
okay,
be
nice.
yeah. I'm going back to Austin for the game, so that's gonna be a blowout. Austin's gonna be a very sad town after that game's over.
Now, you're not rooting for Alabama, right? Unless you bet on them.
No. No, no, I'm doing some work on the side with, some Texas people, so I'm going there to support Texas, actually.
Okay, so as a gambler, I don't believe in this, right? I'm going to put up your Atlanta Braves background here. We're going to switch. So as
Okay.
I have a friend of mine who is a diehard Giant fan, and he has this special Giant jersey, and he's like, "I'm 19-2 when I wear this jersey." So I say to him all the time, "You've been single for 25 years. If that jersey gives you luck, why don't you take it to a bar and pick up a woman?" So, but there's something to be said because it seems like every time you go to a Braves game, they lose. What is going on?
I'm done. I am done going to Braves games. I don't know. My first game I went to this year, they won. It was, like, the first series against the Mets, and they won, and then they've lost. I also went to a World Series game against Houston last year, and they lost, and I went to the SEC championship, and Georgia lost, so maybe I am gonna stop going to games.
Are you superstitious like that? Or because I know a lot of people are.
Yes! Yes,
Really?
I put my tweet up, I was like, "You guys, I Braves have lost every time I've been to a game, so take the Astros." Because when I went to see the Astros Braves playing back in Atlanta a few weeks ago, and matter of fact, the Braves lost, Astros won.
And you know
Free
what?
money,
But
free
you know
money.
what's so funny? People would get mad at you, like stop going to the games, like stop, like
Yeah. Oh,
diehard
yeah, people
Atlanta
tweet me all
fans.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
No, I'm
Alex,
done.
Jersey girl wants to know: did you do something different to your studio, or are you? It does look different.
I did, I switched up my room a little bit, and I really like it now, so and now I
Yes.
have more light by my desk.
Very nice. Very nice. And you're in New York,
Yeah.
correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Let's move to the Braves. They are now 2 games behind. What I like about please can we not do that on the show? What I like is the Mets have the easiest schedule moving forward. The Braves still have to play 7 games against the Phillies. So are you confident that the Braves, by the way, worst porn stash mustache I've ever seen, but
I
people
love
seem
it.
to love it. You love it. Are
I
you
love it.
confident that the Braves will catch the Mets, or do you think, hey, we're going to be destined? If the playoffs started right now, the Braves would play best out of 3 against the Phillies, and then match up if they advance against the Dodgers. I think the Mets, if they hold on, have a much easier path. Are you confident that the Braves are going to catch the Mets?
Can I just tell you, it was so nice to wake up this morning watching Georgia highlights to see that the Mets had lost last night. I was like, "Oh, that's so great."
Got
It was
killed. They
great.
gave up 6 runs, I think, in the eighth or ninth. Got killed to Washington, who's terrible. Washington is
Oh,
9-43 in the NL East.
yeah, I mean, we still have to play the Nationals again. We still have another series against the Mets.
Right.
So I'm a little nervous because we still have some games that we need to win, especially to catch up to the Mets. I don't know. I'm a little nervous. I think I'll feel more confident after we beat the Mets. I know we have a series against I think the Nationals. I know we played Miami, so we have some easy games, but
Yeah, the
there's
Braves. I
still
think the
some
Braves have the
big
third
ball
easiest
left.
schedule too.
Yeah.
But again, you
So
do have 7 games against the Phillies, who should make the playoffs. Zach Wheeler and Noah Syndergaard, former Mets, by the way, with this young Met
right.
pitching staff back in the day. Um, Look at Jacob Degrom there. Oh my, Noah Syndergaard. They all look so young. Matt Harvey, the Dark Knight, back in the day. So I mean, let's say the Braves don't catch the Mets. Are you confident in a short series if you have to go up against, let's say, a Syndergaard or Zach Wheeler, who's a number 1 staff? Are you confident that the Braves can make another deep playoff run?
We just need our players also to stay healthy. We need Dansby to stay intact, like especially with our outfield and the Phillies players. I mean, if they have a healthy Bryce Harper, like he's going to be hitting bombs. So I think we just need our outfield to stay healthy and Austin Riley, Matt Olson to just do what they're getting paid for. We need to win and make it to the playoffs again.
Andrea says, I'm bad luck for the Mets when I watch the Mets game, they lose. And George Lopez, who is a Dodger fan, Andrea, watch the rest of the Met games. So, and listen, I don't know. I don't fear St. Louis. Do you? Like, they're a great team. Goldschmidt's probably going to win the MVP. But are you fearful of St. Louis or any other team, or is it Mets, Braves, Dodgers in the NL?
I mean, we lost. We just had that series against the Cardinals, and we lost 2 of the games against them. So they're a tough team, and they're definitely catching up.
So, are you more confident or less confident than you were last year going into the postseason?
More confident. I had 0 confidence last year.
Well, the Braves did come out
0.
of nowhere. What I want to
Yeah,
say, it's
exactly.
amazing. It's amazing because I think Mookie Betts, right, and then Freddie Freeman are the 2 best players in the National League. But you lose Freeman, but Matt Olson has been a godsend. It's like
Amazing.
you don't miss Freeman because let's be honest, Olson has been just as good.
Just as good, and hitting home runs, like, on those nights, like, especially that we need, like, that extra run, when, like, players like Austin Riley or, like, Dansby aren't really showing up, but then Matt Olson just, like, takes over, and it's been great.
Okay,
He's been
so
fun to watch.
give us your prediction for who goes to the World Series in the East, I mean, the National League, and is everyone just going to take Houston? The Yankees were 15 and a half games in front of Tampa Bay. They lost last night. Someone said they're sinking like the Titanic. I said they're sinking like a glacier in like a week. They're 4 games
Slow.
ahead of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays right now. So are you taking Houston in the American League, and who are you taking in the National League?
I mean, I like the Yankees. Like, I've been on the Yankees train for some reason. I think it'll be Yankees Astros. Because I would love to see Yankees Braves World Series. That would be so fun for me being in New York. I wouldn't go to the games, but I would be rooting for the Braves proudly around town.
So you're taking you still have faith in the Yankees.
Yeah, I do.
Wow. Okay, because they have I think they started like 70 and 34 and they're 9 and like 20 in their last like 29 games. They've been terrible,
They've been
but
there
we'll see.
before. They've been to the playoffs. They're pros. They've got the
Yeah, no.
experience.
Listen, the Yankees like the Braves can't lose enough games for me. So I'm, as and again, I don't expect the Mets to win the World Series now or go to the World Series. The good news is Eduardo Escobar came off the injury. He had 40 home runs a few years ago. He's been terrible this year. He's hit 2 home runs in his last 3 games. The Mets' 8 and 9 hitters have been automatic outs. And you look at the Braves, the Astros, the Dodgers. Their 8 and 9 hitters can all hit for power and provide. So if Escobar can come around, the Mets should be okay. Okay, let's move to the NFL. First of all, who's your favorite team in the NFL?
I wouldn't say favorite. I root for the Falcons.
Right. Okay.
But during college football season for me, like college football's always been above. But then I did fantasy for the first time last year, and I'll never do it again. There was too much football to watch. But yeah, I'm a Falcons fan.
Okay, so I'm a huge Marcus Mariota fan. And am I crazy here?
Wow.
Because I
Yes.
think with their skill, I love Pitts. Okay, I think Drake London is going to be a stud. I love Cordell
Yes.
Patterson. Now, Pro Football Focus has their offensive line and defensive
Excuse
line
me.
rated at the bottom, either at the bottom of the list. But I think if this team wins 7, 8 games, it's a legitimate good season. They looked pretty good in preseason. The last game I watched Mariota, he drove down 2 times. They scored a field goal and a touchdown. You think this team's going to suck, or am I overrating them?
I hate it. I hate Marcus Mariota. Like he did. What did he do with the Raiders last year or last year? Like nothing.
Well,
Excuse
he
me.
he backed them
Um.
up. He was a backup, yeah, but I still
Yeah.
think he has
Uh,
skill. So you don't want Mariota to start.
no. I would love to see what this new quarterback that we drafted can do. I know he won't start. I know they'll start Mariota, but as soon as he gets hurt, he's going to be in. And no, I'm just not excited. I'm just not excited for the Falcons season. Plus, like our division stuff, we've got the Bucks, we've got the Saints. But we always play terrible. I mean, we have our games against the Saints, and then uh, what's his name coming back for the Panthers? Starting for the Panthers. Like I'm really excited
Baker
for
Mayfield.
him. Well,
Yeah.
yes. Why can't I was gonna say Brock for some reason? Baker Mayfield. So I don't know. It's a tough division for us in the South. So I'm just like not excited. But you never know.
By the
But
way,
I have no faith in
do
Mariota.
you enjoy Diaz's entrance for the Mets where they play the trumpets and the? I love it. People go. It's all over social media. People love it. As a Braves fan, do you hate it?
Oh, I saw that the other day all over Twitter. I didn't know
Yeah,
what was going on. I
yeah.
think it's fun. I mean, I like going to Mets games because they play really good music and all their walkout songs are great.
I think someone brought up a great point. What they should do, not for everything, but in the fourth quarter, under like 5 minutes, and if a game is tied or they're down two or down three, I think kickers should have walk-off music in the stands for the NFL games. I think that would be great.
I would love that. That would be great. Do you mind Rodrigo's? Like,
Yeah,
he's
I
so
think it would
cool.
be great.
I would love it.
Yes,
I
I
would
am
love it.
fascinated with Mark. Look, once a quack, always a wow. Wow, people just
Oh,
kill him.
that is true. He played at Oregon. That's why
Yes,
you
he did.
like him.
I do, and I like
Oh,
Justin Herbert too. By the way, we have a
yeah.
bingo drinking card every time I mention Marcus Mariota, which will be a lot this year. Somebody's got to take a shot. So there you go.
That's oh,
Okay. So, okay, let's do a little numbers game here. Are you taking the Atlanta Falcons? I'm saying 8 over under is a push. Over
it's
under.
definitely a push. Can I do an alternate over of like 5?
Okay, yes, okay, so you're going to say under. You're going to say under 8
Yes.
wins. Okay. All
Yes.
right. Okay, Chargers 11 and a half over under wins. I think they win the division. Kansas City, I think they both go 12 and 5.
I'm gonna say under. I feel. Oh wait, do I have? Yeah, I said no on under. No on over for wins. It's a tough division for them. You know, you've got the Chiefs, the Raiders. I'm not sure what the Broncos are gonna do, but you never know. So
I
I do not
have
think they come out of that division.
as my sleeper team, I not only have the Eagles winning the division, I have them winning 12 games. They have the best offensive line by Pro Football Focus. They've added defensive players. Everyone thinks the Ravens were the number one rushing offense last year. They weren't. It was the Eagles. And now you have Devontae Smith, who had a good rookie year, and you add A.J. Brown from Tennessee. So I'm saying the Eagles over 11 wins. What do you say?
Monte, we're on the same page. The
Okay.
Philly for me is a sleeper pick of the season. I'm all in. They're in a very easy division. The Giants aren't going to do anything. Commanders aren't going to do anything. The Cowboys are going to come out thinking they're big shots, but they're also not going to do much. So I'm all in on the Eagles.
So you agree with me that over 11 wins?
Yes.
Okay. So if they're your sleeper team in the NFC, do you have one in the AFC?
They're not technically a sleeper, but I am all in on the Bengals. I love Joe Daddy.
Really? You know,
Yeah, I want to see them do well.
you know what? They addressed their offseason issues. They had, I think Joe Burrow was sacked 84 times in like 2 years or some. So they got two starting offensive linemen. But here's what I say about that. I think the Ravens with Lamar Jackson are going to be healthier. And here's what I
Hmm.
say about the Steelers. Okay, I think Pickens is a steal in fantasy football draft for rookie
Yep.
wide receivers. He could be the next. I'm not going to say
Go dogs.
Justin Jefferson, but if you could make it to the playoffs with Big Ben last year, who couldn't throw the ball 20 yards, imagine what they could do with Mitchell Trubisky, who's been to a playoff game. And people don't realize this. Tomlin lost, has never had a losing season ever.
Yeah, ever.
So
You never know with the Steelers.
I'm higher on the. I think the Bengals may make the playoffs, but I think they take a step back just because I think everyone in that division has gotten better, except
Okay,
the Browns, obviously, without Deshaun Watson.
without anybody,
So
without
do you?
anybody.
Okay, so next question: if you had to take two teams from the AFC West, or three teams from the AFC West, or two or three teams from the AFC North to make the playoffs, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, or Raiders, Chargers, Kansas City, who's going to have more playoffs from their division?
I mean, definitely Kansas City. They're just gonna keep getting better
So
unless
you like the
somebody gets
AFC
hurt.
West better than the AFC South, AFC North?
Yes, yes,
Okay. All
yes.
right. Rams, 12 and a half wins over under, and why?
Um, I think I checked the line and it went down to 10.5. So I think they can win 11 games. I don't think their division's going to be as tough. I mean, the Seahawks aren't going to be that great. I think their toughest matchup will be the Niners in that series, in that division. And the Cardinals, I'm not really sure if they're going to be that good this year. So I'm going to take the over in that.
Yeah, I mean, I saw this. Geno Smith couldn't start with the Jets. And then Pete Carroll comes out. I don't know if Pete Carroll's smoking weed. I don't know if he's delusional, but he's like, we got two number one starters. No, you don't. No, you don't.
No,
Okay. Geno
no.
Smith has been named the starter. If I'm a wide receiver like a DK Metcalf or a Tyler Lockett, I'm crying. I know Jared, who's coming
Yes.
on next, is a San Francisco 49er fan. When they named Geno Smith the starter, he probably ran around his house and celebrated for an hour.
Yeah, I don't know what Pete Carroll's gonna do. It's not gonna be a pretty season for him. He's on
All
the
right.
hot seat. He's on the hot seat
I,
for sure.
Ravens 11 wins over or under.
I'm gonna take the under. I feel like the Ravens are always really good in the beginning of the season, and people get really excited for them, but they always fall short. So I am taking the under.
Okay, let's get back to the Falcons now because you have Drake
Oh,
London, Kyle Pitts, Cordarrelle Patterson. So you're telling me that this team is not going to be able to score? You think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league?
I don't think. I mean, nobody ever has any high expectations for us. So like, why should I?
Right.
Why should I?
Now let me ask you this
I'm
question:
not gonna let them crush me.
when they lost to the Patriots, was that the worst loss you've ever experienced, or Georgia losing to Alabama in the national championship when Tua came off the bench? Was that worse, or losing to
Oh,
the hated Patriots?
you're just like putting salt on the wound for me because
Listen,
it's
I have to because I
not.
think the Braves may catch
Ah,
the Mets, and I'm going to be miserable. So I got to attack you somehow, and you just killed my Oregon Ducks.
killed him. I mean, I was in Houston for that Super Bowl, and at
Oh
halftime, I
my
was like
god!
buying everybody shots. And then I started sobering up as Tom Brady just like kept throwing darts down the field. I'm like, what's what's happening here? What's happening here? It was, and then I couldn't believe it happened again with Alabama. Nick Saban putting in Tua in the second half. I was like, Nick Saban's crazy. Why is he doing this? And it was just it like slow motion, just pain in my entire body. I was watching it with an Alabama friend of mine too, and I was like, I hate you so much. You should just leave my house.
You know what's it's so disheartening because I always say this. I would rather lose 49-3 than lose in a game in overtime like New England did or like Alabama did. I just beat the hell out of me, end it. Don't do the slow. We're
Be
winning.
done with
Oh
it.
my God. Let's hold on. And I got to be honest with you. Going back to Kirby Smart, I think he learned a lot from that loss because they became so conservative once
Yep.
Alabama started scoring. And it's like, Kirby, listen, I think he learned, like, listen, we can't just expect our defense to win. By the way, you look at Georgia's tight end. What are they? 6'6". The average size is like 6'5", 250.
They're
They have
huge.
4 guys on their roster who are going to be playing in the NFL.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Stetson loves them too. He loves throwing the ball to them.
Okay, let's get back to the NFL, and then we'll see how we can follow and support you. Who do you have
Okay.
going to the NFC Championship? Who do you have going to the AFC Championship? I know it's early, but during the preseason show, the week before the season, we always ask our guests this.
Out of the NFC, I've got the Packers and the Eagles.
Oh,
And
wow.
then out of the AFC, I've got the Bills and the Bengals.
So
Pretty
you have
chalky for the
so you have
AFC.
what? Bengals against
The
Packers?
Bills. No, yes, yes.
So you are very high on Joe Burrow.
I I love him. You know what? I might as well just be a Bengals fan. You know what? I'm not even gonna be a Falcons fan. I'm just gonna be a Bengals fan.
Okay, and final question. You said that you can't play fantasy football anymore. As someone like you who knows the lines, who watches every sport, I thought you'd be all into fantasy football.
Oh, no, it's just too much keeping up with and who's hurt and who's got a bye week. And I feel like I watch so much football on Saturdays that on Sundays, if the Falcons aren't playing, I usually like go run errands and do stuff and I'll just keep up with games on my phone and watch like the Sunday night game. So I think I take it as like my brain shut off day. So I feel like with fantasy, I did do like DraftKings every now and then. I'll do like a daily lineup. It's fun. But yeah, no, but the fantasy people get too competitive, and I'm just, hey, you guys, and also like having to root for my team against, like, let's say, like I had Tom Brady last year, and it was like the day they were playing the Falcons. I'm like, well, it's kind of like you're rooting against your own team because you want your fantasy team to win, and it's
Okay,
not as
but
fun.
would you ever bet against Georgia if you thought it was a sure thing?
No,
So you don't bet
I usually
against
don't
your
like to
teams at
bet on
all.
my teams.
Okay.
No,
All right. All right.
no.
That's fair. A
I mean,
lot
I
of
took
people won't
Georgia to
do
win
that.
yesterday. Yeah, no,
A
but
lot of people won't do that. That's funny. All right, Alex, we love having you on. We're going to try to get you
oh,
on
thanks
during
for
the
having me.
season to talk Falcons. I think they're going to be very competitive. I hope I'm wrong. How can we follow you and support you?
Alex George 5 on Instagram and Twitter.
And TikTok, right?
Yes, TikTok is Alex George with 3 X's.
Okay. Okay. We will. I do follow you on TikTok. Anything you have
Yeah.
going on, make sure to put it on my page so people who follow me can support you. I'm getting over 1 million views on my Twitter page a month. So definitely try to use my page as look, excellent job. Alex is great. People love you. Thank you so much,
Thanks
Alex.
for having me.
Congratulations on Georgia. I wish it was a little bit more competitive. So,
I know.
and I hope that going into the last week of the season, the Mets are up 4, so they could rest their starters because they have a 3-game series against Atlanta. So
We'll chat soon. We'll chat
we
again.
will. All right, Alex. Thanks so much. Really appreciate
Thank
the time.
you.
Great job by Alex George. She does a tremendous job. When we come back, George Lopez and Jared Milligan. This is going to be a feisty next 30 minutes with these two guys. You're watching the Full Monty Sports Show. Give us the thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel.
East Coast Covers, creator of the Smart Commuter Cover, designs and manufactures custom American handmade quality products. It is the only cover with an adjustable 4-toggle lock-in cord system, which lets you create the fit you want without the need for additional tie-downs. The cover conveniently self-stores when pulled into the attached backpack and also provides a pocket for storing small belongings. Nearly 42 years of riding experience are behind every design with a cover for whatever 2 wheels you ride.
Enjoy 40% off site-wide. Vitable takes the guesswork out of feeling good. Get your own personalized daily vitamin pack safely delivered to your doorstep every month. Take their online quiz to find out which vitamins and minerals can support your personal needs based on your own diet and lifestyle. Hashtag only what you need, nothing that you don't. All vitamins are manufactured in Australia at the highest quality standard. Ingredients come in the best form for their absorption by your body. Enjoy 40% off site-wide using code NBS40 at checkout.
All right, let's get George Lopez on. George writes for Nuts and Bolts Sports, covering LA sports. And we'll bring on Jared Milligan. Truth be told, I saw Jared Milligan his senior year in high school playing basketball. I recruited him. I took him under my wing. I made him the man he is today, even though, you can only do so much with what you have. So let's bring him on. Jared and George, how are you guys today?
Hey, how's it going, Monte? I'm actually right now at my son's game, and Christian's up. He's up to bat right now, so I'm watching his at bat right now.
Okay, George, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take you off stage so you can watch and enjoy your son's
No,
at
no,
bat.
no, 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 no,
Sure?
no. It's good.
Okay. All right. Let's start with you, Jared.
He's about to walk.
Let's start with you, Jared. There's no one worse as a Met fan than my father and my brother. The Mets, you would think that the Mets are 70 games below 500 because even when they're winning, Lindor will strike out, and my dad and brother like, this guy sucks. Is your dad a worse Met fan than my dad?
Oh, they're all in the same. It's the same thing. Every time I speak to my father, yeah, you'd think that they were getting the #1 draft pick next year. The way he acts, every single time they could be up 12-0. As soon as he always swings that pitch. He ain't no good. I'm like, the dude has 115 RBIs. What are you talking about? I gotta understand.
Dad yesterday
complaining about every single thing.
My dad yesterday said if he had to take 3 Mets, he would take McNeil, Nimmo, and Kana instead of Alonso, Lindor, and Marte. I go, Dad, what's wrong? He goes, I can't try. I go, you can't try. I said, Lindor with runners in scoring position is batting 384. Pete Alonso is second in RBI. No, Pete Alonso sucks. He strikes out too much.
That's what I'm telling you. It's crazy, man. It's like, you know what it is? They don't want to be happy. They don't want to be happy. They want to live in the misery that they've had
You always look at the negatives. Jared,
George,
am I right? You always look at the negative. You never look at the positive when you're a sports fan.
But no, like I look at baseball.
No, but they take it to like a whole nother level, man. Trust me.
I look at
I get
baseball.
what you're saying. Yeah, of course.
It's a marathon.
I remember.
It's a marathon. So if Pete Alonso, I'll give you an example. Okay, Aaron Judge struck out 3 times against Max Scherzer, and then do I think Aaron Judge sucks? No, he's going to win the MVP. You can't look at baseball as a sprint. It's a marathon, George.
Yeah, but I remember Hank Aaron talking once when he was going to try to get a pay raise. Tell the owner, I had 130 RBIs. Yeah, but you left 800 runners on base during the season.
Well, all right. First of all, look at Greg trying to defend you, Jared. You know
That's my
that
guy.
what?
That's my guy right there. Good for him.
Yeah,
See?
but you know that I took you under my wing, showed you how to lift, showed you how to. You became a great basketball player because of me.
Oh, you think that I became a great basketball player?
Jared, was it because of him or in spite of him?
Player.
Jared.
Yeah, I think it might be more the latter.
Before I got to
I wanted to
Ramapo,
smack him
you were coming
all
off the
hills
bench.
he used to make me try to run.
Before
what?
you were coming off the bench. I made you a starter.
No,
I made you all conference. You were the best player on our team besides
what are you
one
talking
other guy.
about? I was only in the bench my freshman year. That was it.
Jared, okay, you're going to deny the fact that you got 10 times better when I came to Ramapo.
I will agree with that, but that just kind of coincides with me becoming a man of my own too. But you did help me hone my skills. I get that. I'm going to give you credit, bro. I said that.
You're not.
But don't act like you. You're acting like you're straight, like you're Obi-Wan Kenobi here, and I'm Luke Skywalker.
Okay, I'm going to say one more thing because no one cares about our college basketball, but this goes into what we're going to talk about with the 49ers. So I don't think we're going to get into baseball and all that stuff. I don't think the 49ers should have brought Jimmy G back. And the fact that they're saying that, oh, he's going to be the backup. I said, Jared, that's bad for the locker room. As soon as Trey Lance struggles, you don't think George Kittle's going to be like, hey, put Jimmy G in? And I said to Jared, I go, that the same thing happened with you. Jared's junior year, when we worked out all summer, he was like top 5 scoring, rebound, assist. He was the ultimate stretch four who could post up. Jared rips the ligaments in his ankle, misses 10 games, and he ready to come back. And our head coach says, no, he's not starting anymore. We're going to use him off the bench. And I'm like, what are you on, crack? He's the best player in the league at power forward. And Jared says to me, it worked because I was a professional. And I'm like, Jared, every day you'd be like, Monte, this is BS. I should be starting. You were not a professional in that locker room. You were miserable every day that you didn't start. How is Jimmy G not going to be miserable?
Well, I didn't make it a scene though. Like me and you had our talks, and you know how I felt, but I wasn't going to be a distraction to the team. Even though I felt like, I felt like I was the best player in the country at that point. But I was doing what's best for the team.
You were the best power forward in the country. I'll give you that.
But you know what I look at with this whole thing with San Francisco?
Go ahead.
You know, Trey Lance is going to be looking over his shoulder, and he's going to be afraid to make mistakes, which is beneficial for my team because if he plays that tight, it helps the Rams. But I would have got rid of Jimmy G because if you're going to commit to Lance, you get someone else in the back because it's going to divide the locker room, and fans that want Jimmy G, the moment Trey Lance struggles a little bit, and they're just going to be clamoring, get Jimmy G back. And I think it stunts Trey Lance's growth.
See, look, this is how I look at it. So I talked about this like months ago. If there was a possibility he was going to stay, I said, listen, you know what? I don't mind if he stays at such a reduced salary that it's okay. And this is it, man. So now we got the best backup in the league for $6 million. And we just saved a ton of cap space instead of just outright releasing him and he'll be in Seattle by next Tuesday. They didn't want that. They clearly showed that they can handle this. I know what it feels like. The outside pressure, the national media, like the fans, they don't care. If you follow this team, they don't care what you think. They don't care what I think. That team is a very cohesive unit. They have studs everywhere. They have leaders everywhere. So now it might not be the best situation, but I think they will make the best of that situation. I think they'll be fine. And look at last year. They started 2-4 with Jimmy, and I was like, get Jimmy out of here. Get Jimmy out of here. And all of a sudden they turn it around. They almost make the Super Bowl again. So this team is okay. I think if anybody can do it, it's them. And I think Lance has the right head on his shoulders. And those guys, they actually like each other. So I think that helps too. So we'll see.
Okay. Before we go on to other topics, I'm just going to say right here, yes, Jared, I made you a star. You should have named one of your kids, if not their first name, at least their middle name, Monte, to show the recognition. Okay, let's move on.
Andres is close to Armando, right?
What's that? Yeah, that is true.
I said Andres. That's my son's name. That's close to Armando.
That is true. That is true. All right. So you don't think Trey Lance is going to be looking over his shoulder, Jared?
I don't. I really don't, man. This kid has he has the mental makeup of a veteran. If you hear if you like paid attention to camp, you paid attention to even how he prepares and how he is, how he handles the media. He'll be like one of the youngest starters ever, and he seems like he's a 5-year veteran already. He gets it.
Okay.
So I
But can I come back with this?
If they say come out, they backed him. I think he's okay.
Okay, Jared, let me come back with this. Okay, you draft Joe Burrow, Andy Dalton. Let's get rid of him because we're drafting Joe Burrow. The Arizona Cardinals drafted Josh Rosen. They realized it wasn't working. They go after Kyler Murray. Okay, you draft Lamar Jackson. You don't have Joe Flacco. Justin Herbert becomes a starter. I know Tyrod Taylor's not legitimate, so you get rid of him. You don't have someone who just made it to the NFC Championship backing up a young guy. It doesn't work. If you believe in Trey Lance, why do you need Jimmy?
What have you seen the injuries on this team every year? Wouldn't you want depth? So if I said to you, if you're a general manager, hey, we can get a dude for $6 million and he knows our system, great, and we can win with him. Maybe we win in spite of him because he obviously has faults. But if Trey Lance does go down, this team's ready to win now, and we know we can compete with this guy behind the center. So I again, the more I think about it, the more I'm like, okay, I'm cool with that, man, because you got the best backup in the league at such a reduced price. Now, if they would have brought him back for like $15 million or $12 million, I'd have been like, this is terrible. This is a fiasco. But bro, you got him for $6 million. Like, you got dudes out there who are way worse than him, making more money than him. So I'm okay with that. Again,
All right.
It's a value thing to me.
Okay, George, give us your chance to gloat here. My Ducks got crushed. By the way, great job by USC. Who'd they play? Like Montclair State or like some junior college?
No. USC does not play those. No,
come on.
When you want to talk
George.
Montclair State,
Rice and beans?
If you're going to talk crappy teams that schools play, bring up Nick Saban in Alabama, Coppin State, Townsend State, all that. Excuse me, like all that bullshit teams they play, and then they have to have their bye week to play Auburn, and the guy doesn't have the balls to come out west to play a team except if it's a bowl game. So don't give me that. All right,
That's true.
That game yesterday, it was what we expected. So it doesn't show me anything with USC. The one thing I'll say is the enthusiasm on the sideline. I hadn't seen that in quite a while. I was watching the coaches. They were enthusiastic. They were doing rally towels. It was amazing to watch. And there is a change at USC now with the atmosphere. On defense, everybody was swarming to the ball. You weren't seeing that last year. So the coaches Lincoln Riley brought in, they brought a different mentality to USC. I won't say that they're completely back. We heard people in the stands just say, "Oh, they're back." No, this game doesn't tell us anything.
Okay,
George, they
did
what they were supposed to do.
I will say this. I was a little disappointed to see the box score and see my boy Dye from Oregon, the running back, only get 8 touches. This guy needs to touch the ball 20 times a game. He's undersized, but he gets better as the game goes on.
Yeah, but they have a 3-headed monster on that running attack. Raleek Brown's an incoming. He's a freshman out of Monte out here in California, 5-star recruit. He looked really good. Austin looked really good. So he's got options. I did expect Dye to get more touches yesterday, but he's going to spread he's going to spread the ball around with the running backs, and they still need to improve the run blocking. That was one of the big criticisms I had about that game yesterday. The run blocking should have been better. Okay. I'll say that.
All right, Jared, let's move to the NFL here now that George is talking about USC basically playing a glorified scrimmage. Let's get that out of the way.
Hey, just because you guys couldn't get a touchdown, I don't want to, don't be sad, Monte. Don't hate.
I'm seriously thinking about taking down my Oregon banner here.
Yeah, I think Phil Knight's going to pull his booster money now after that shellacking.
I will say this about Oregon. It just looks like the talent pool is just not there. Listen, they played Georgia. Georgia's probably the best team in the country, but they got humiliated. They didn't look well coached at all. They had no game plan. And Bo Nix, when I coached Kane University, my first year coaching there, we were 13-11. I got hired in October as an assistant. We had 2 juniors starting and 3 sophomores starting. At the end of the year, I went into the head coach's office and I said, if we want to make the playoffs, we need to replace 3 starters. And he goes, I can't replace these guys. They were my first recruits. And I said, I don't give a you know what. I said, we need to get 3 new starters. And I recruited 2 freshmen and a transfer, and we wind up starting the transfer, the senior, the junior, and those other guys came off the bench. And we made the playoffs. And my point is, Bo Nix, we know what his ceiling is, right? When he plays bad teams, he's going to do well. When he plays good teams, he'll throw 2 interceptions in the first half, like he did yesterday. So the Oregon Ducks should have their redshirt freshman start at quarterback, who is a top 10 quarterback coming out of high school, and just Bo, sit on the sideline. Thank you, but we don't want you. Oregon should take this year, George, to develop their young talent and see where they are.
Well, okay, who's coaching Oregon? Obviously I don't follow the Sybil colors, whatever. So I don't follow that program. But who's their coach?
Dan Lanning. He was the defensive coordinator for Georgia.
Okay.
Last year.
Defensive coordinator, and he gave up 49 points.
What? Yeah, exactly.
I think they take too much time having to pick out their uniforms. That's the problem.
That is true.
But
you know what's great?
Now with this NIL,
Oregon's not those top players that they used to get.
Yeah. Listen, but they. I will say this. I will say this. They do have all the money in the world. Phil Knight, the CEO of Nike, they donate. They don't have to pay anything for sneakers, for uniforms, for anything. So, they should be able to compete. I'm not going to overreact. I didn't have them being a top 10 team this year. I had them being top 20. So we'll see what happens. All right, Jared.
I agree with you. I figured they were going to lose, but I didn't expect it to be that bad.
It was terrible.
I thought it would have been I figured Georgia would have pulled away in the second half.
It was absolutely terrible. Okay,
yeah,
Jared.
It was.
Let's talk about your defense here for the 49ers. What is the strength? Obviously, anytime Bosa's around, you got to factor him. But if you had to say something that concerns you going into this season, other than their quarterback situation, which you're not concerned with, defensively, what are you worried about?
Of course, it comes back to everything, health. But because right now, our Jimmy Ward going to miss the first 4 games at minimum.
That's a terrible loss. That's a terrible loss.
It's the worst. It's like the worst possible thing for that defensive backfield, because that dude is so much better than people think. He allows us to play in so many different looks, and without him back there and his veteran leadership and just his his presence, it's going to be tough those first 4 games, man, because we got a couple of young guys and new guys back there, guys coming off Achilles tears, and it's just not a good. But I will say this though, the DBs on the outside are better than they've ever been since since Dion probably. It's been a long time since they had some really, really good shutdown corners. So I think that will help those younger safeties when they play those first 4 games. And obviously the front seven's the best in football, so they're going to generate crazy pressure, and hopefully that'll help mask the safety positions a little bit.
Real quick with Greg here. Greg brings up a good point. I know we're switching topics, but I think Arizona has 50 new players over the last 2 years. They've totally changed their program around. So I wanted to bring this up. So, Jared, you're saying that your back 4 is the weakness of this team defensively.
Well, yeah. I mean, like I said, the outside corners are really good. The safety position opposite Jimmy Ward is like the only kind of question mark. We got, Hufunga was penciled in the start. He's not the fastest guy, but he has a really great feel for the game, and he's like a rocket out there. It just kind of, it's hard to play like single high with him out there because he's, a 4-7 guy. He not a burner. So you start playing these teams like, the Rams, the Cardinals, who could throw immense pressure at you with 3-4 wide receiver sets and, put them in a bind back there. But again, that front seven is so good that it's going to keep the pressure on any quarterback, and you're not going to get more than 3 seconds to throw anyway. But if you had to worry, that would be the spot to worry, yeah, for sure.
All right, George, I look at this Rams defense and they say Aaron Donald, one of the greatest of all time. You added a linebacker. You have Jalen Ramsey, who's a Hall of Famer. So at those 3 positions, you're basically saying, okay, double team Aaron Donald. Don't throw to Jalen Ramsey's side, although I've seen him in a couple of practices that Jalen Ramsey has been getting beat in inter-squad scrimmages. I don't know if he really cares. What is the strength and weakness of this team?
Think.
Well, look about it. Last year in the playoffs, Ramsey was getting beat. Brady Brady beat him in the playoff in the divisional game. If Aaron Donald wouldn't have made that play in the final, fourth down in the Super Bowl, Ramsey got beat.
Yeah.
He fell.
Oh, yeah,
Jamar Chase was running down the sideline wide open. Cincinnati would have won that game. He was getting beat at the end last year. I think what they were doing with him last year kind of tired him out, even though he won't admit it. But he wasn't looking as sharp as he had all season. But
can I be honest here for a second? Who's going to cover Justin Jefferson? I don't care how good you are. It's not like the olden days where the rules, were equal. You have a Cooper Kupp, you have a Justin Jefferson, you have a Jamar Chase. I don't care how good of a defensive back you are. You're not limiting that guy to 2 catches.
Oh, no, you're not.
No.
And like with Justin Jefferson, you're going to roll the safety over on him. Even if it's Jalen Ramsey, you're going to roll a safety over. You have to do that. You have to bracket him. And, it's kind of hard with like Cooper Kupp. And I even think with Adam Thielen with the Vikings, it'll be hard to bracket them because they're going to put him in the slot. And it's hard to bracket a receiver in the slot because you don't know what he's going to do. Cooper Kupp, you don't know which way he's going until the last second. He is that good at disguising which way he's going on the route.
Okay, George, so talk about this defense. What is the strength? What is the weakness?
Well, the strength, I think, is obviously going to be their linebacking core. Picking up Bobby Wagner, it was a tremendous pickup, but it's going to make Ernest Jones even better. He had a great rookie year. He's going to get even better in the middle linebacker spot. You still got Leonard Floyd on the outside as an edge rusher. Granted, they have to make up for losing Von Miller, but they got Hollins and Terrell Lewis, who's going to play opposite of Leonard, of Leonard Floyd. Their linebacking core should be a lot better than it was last year. I am concerned a little bit because they brought back Troy Hill to play opposite Jalen Ramsey in the other corner spot, but he was more of a nickel back with the Rams. Now he's going to be the number 2 cornerback. So I'm a little concerned there because he obviously didn't pan out in Cleveland. That's why Cleveland was ready to, easily give him up. So I'm concerned with the cornerback spot, and a little bit of the depth. They did lose some players. Sebastian Joseph Day's gone. They lost Troy Reeder at the linebacker spot. So there are some depth concerns that I have on defense.
George, Bobby Wagner over under 85 tackles.
Over.
So you think he's
first
still
half of the season?
What's that? Yeah. Wait,
Yeah,
Jared, are you high on Bobby
in the first
Wagner
half?
Still?
Yeah, I think with Bobby Wagner, I think that was. Yeah, 2 things with Bobby Wagner. I think it was more of a salary issue with Seattle, and Seattle's going to go through a rebuilding process. Who wants to go through that? If he has an opportunity to go elsewhere and compete, you're going to do it. But, you had to get out of the rebuilding thing in Seattle.
Okay, let's talk a little fantasy football here with these teams. And if you have any questions, I know Andrea has some fantasy football questions. First off, Jared, in my big money league as my second wide receiver, I took Brandon Ayuk just because you've been talking about this guy for 17 years. He's only been in the league for 3 years. He had 56 catches last year. Jared, when is this guy going to be an elite wide receiver? Because all you do is talk about him.
Well, if you paid attention to the second half of the season last year, he was an elite wide receiver, especially in fantasy. He was a top 12 guy the last 10 weeks of the season when he got out of the doghouse. And he's just going to get better this year, man, because listen, he and Lance have a tremendous rapport. They work together all year, every single day. They were like pen pals, man. They were just together in there, making it happen. So I think that he's actually I've been saying this for the last couple of years, and me and Greg have the friendly bet, as he knows. I think Ayuk leads them in receptions this year. I think he gets 80, 85
over Debo and Kittle.
Yeah, Debo, it's funny with both of those guys, they don't need as many catches like that. They don't get open like Ayuk. Ayuk is the man beater. Ayuk is the guy that you can't – he can beat anybody off the line. He can take any cornerback and make him look stupid. Just turn on the film in the playoffs where he did the Trayvon Diggs last year. It was hilarious. Yeah, this guy's spinning around like he was blind. But Debo, Kittle,
let me interrupt you for a second here. Wait, let me interrupt you. Hold on. We have 2 Cowboy guys, Eric and Greg, in the chat. Can we just stop talking about the Cowboy defensive back he's an elite cover guy? He gets beat all the time. Diggs may have a ton of interceptions, but I don't think he can cover you, Jared, in the open field.
I mean, I'm kind of nasty, so he probably couldn't, but that's besides the point.
Again,
don't let the NFL 100 times. He's ahead of
Jared, hold on, Jared. Let me guess, Jared. Monte taught you how to play football as well, right?
No. But I will say this: Jared played in a flag football league where everyone was over 40, under 5'8". Jared's 6'6". He's like, I was the man in the red zone. They would just throw it up
Literally
to him.
not true. 0% true. These dudes all played like college football, some professional. I just was a dude that I was an athlete. I made it happen. But if you can't stop me, that's not my fault.
Exactly.
Okay. So can we agree that Diggs is not an elite cornerback?
I would agree with that. Yeah, but that's
I think it's you can't call a guy in his second year an elite cornerback. He had a good rookie year. Granted, he didn't, and I won't take that away from him. But can he maintain it? So I think I'm sorry. My brother in anger. I know you're high on him. It's too early to call him an elite cornerback.
No, he's not. Okay, Andrea has this question. I'm doing a league with her kids, and it's a small league. She has the first pick. She thinks I keep telling her to go with Jonathan Taylor, but she's worried when they come back with the 8th, 9th, and 10th pick, because when you have the first pick. By the way, when you have the first pick like I do in our basketball league that Jared
you're so annoying.
Jared thinks that I rigged it because I got the number 1 pick when he's the commissioner.
You get it every year though, bro. You get the number 1 pick every single draft somehow. I don't understand.
Jared, you're the commissioner. You control it. What do I hack into your computer?
I don't know what you did, man. I don't know. You talked to Mr. Yahoo.
Monty's hanging with the MAGA people, learning how to rig votes.
There you go. Exactly.
Jared just said you talked to Mr. Yahoo. That's actually a person. All right. So Jonathan Taylor, look, that's what everyone keeps telling for Andrea. Jonathan.
Yeah, you got to go Taylor.
All right. So Greg, talking about fantasy football, one of my sleepers this year in tight end position is Tyler Higbee. Am I crazy to think he's going to get 70 catches and 10 touchdowns? Is that too high?
No, if he stays healthy, I think it's going to be close to that if he can stay healthy. I know he's coming off that knee injury that he sustained in the playoffs, but you figure with a Rams offense, that passing attack, adding Robinson, hopefully getting OBJ back later this year, it's going to open a lot of things up for Tyler Higbee. He was coming on last year, and I expect him to be a big part of the offense this year.
Yeah.
So I see really he could go easily 60 minimum. I think he'd be a good pickup in fantasy.
How high are you on Allen Robinson? Because I think he's going to be the Brandon Cooks of that offense, going over the middle. I think him and Higbee are going to be huge on third down. I think Cooper Kupp is still a wide receiver, but I got to assume his touches go down because they're going to spread the ball around more.
Well, his touches went up last year, and you saw Robert Woods, and I thought, right. I hated to see Robert Woods go. I've been a huge fan of him since his SC days, obviously, but Robinson's still going to get his touches. Kupp, I don't think he'll put up the same number of receptions he did last year, but he's still going to have over triple digits in his receptions. But Robinson's going to have a heck of a year. He won't get to 100 receptions. I don't see that happening, but I could see him easily getting 80 to 90 receptions this year in that offense. They will spread the ball around. Stafford will spread it around, but he's going to have a tremendous year for that Rams offense.
So both of these teams, when it comes to fantasy, I don't want to touch their running backs because they both have the Mike Shanahan philosophy of running the ball. So, Jared, let's start with you. Is it going to be a 2-3-headed monster? I'm actually surprised that Sony Michel just got waived by the Dolphins. Do you think George and Jared, maybe both of these coaches who love running backs, pick up another running back? Jared, who's going to get the bulk of the carries, or it doesn't matter?
No, we're definitely not going to pick up another running back. Our running back room is pretty set. Actually, they love this kid out of Georgia Tech, man, undrafted free agent, Jordan Mason. That's why they actually just waived Trey Sermon because of that. Trey Sermon.
I can't believe that. I was so high on Sermon.
This is what I love about this regime. They play the best guy. They don't give a shit where you were drafted. They don't care how much money you make. If you're getting outplayed, see you later. And this kid's coming.
Exactly.
If you look at Shanahan, the last 5 years, he's had a different lead running back. So I don't think that Mitchell's going to go back to back, and get 1,000 yards like he almost did last year. I think I'm telling you, someone like Jordan Mason could surprise everybody. This kid's 6'1", 220 pounds. One cut, go. Like, he's a monster. He's a really good back, man. A really great find. That's why I get so upset when they keep drafting these damn running backs in the third round, trading extra draft picks, and then I'm like, bro, every single running back that we have that's the best running back is a 6th-round pick, undrafted free agent. Those are the guys they have success with. Stop drafting these dudes in the 3rd round. It's crazy.
George, same question for the Rams. Who's getting the bulk of the carries? Is it running back like committee? I mean, I've seen games where the Rams will run someone for 2 straight games, and then the guy gets 3 touches, and he just goes with the hot hand in the 3rd game.
Well, Cam Akers should get the bulk of the carries, but Darrell Henderson's he's gonna see a lot of playing time, but it's gonna be, I want to say it's gonna be like a 60-40 split between Akers and Henderson in the backfield, and then you got Funk who's gonna come in, spell be like a third down back for the Rams from time to time. But look at it, it's gonna be a 2-headed attack, and I agree with you. I wouldn't touch any of these running backs in fantasy football. Their offense is better when the running game is working. But they don't need to have Cam Akers get 30 touches for 190 yards. As long as they can get close or a little over 100 yards between the two of them, then the offense is fine. So their backs aren't going to put up tremendous numbers, but they're going to put up solid numbers.
Okay, I wouldn't touch either one of them. All right, so Jared, start with you. Over under 11.5 wins for the 49ers.
11.5?
Yeah.
I'm going to go under.
They say 11 and 6?
Nah, I don't even know if I got that high, man. They might just barely get 9 and 8.
What?
It's a hard schedule. Bro, the schedule is tough. Have you seen the schedule, though? Like,
Jared,
there's a couple of gimme games.
Playoff team. You told me this is a playoff team. At 9 and 8?
Get you into the playoffs. Yeah, it'll get you into the playoffs.
Yeah.
10 and 7, 9 and 8 get you into the playoffs. I think so. But, bro, this schedule is tough. We got to play the AFC West. We got to play – you're playing a lot of just like tough teams like every other week.
Who's their extra game against this year?
Well, they open up against the Bears. I know that, so that's a win.
Well, yeah, first couple games are not that bad. You got Bears, Bears on the road, and I think we go to Panthers at home. I want to say the 3rd week. Oh no, Seahawks at home. Sorry. Then the 3rd week we go to Denver. That's where it kind of gets a little tough. Nice little stretch in there. I think we play the Dolphins as one. I think the Dolphins might be our extra team for some reason.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't think we play the rest of the AFC East. Yep, I think it's the Dolphins because we play. I know we play the NFC South and we play the AFC West.
All right, this is kind of off topic here, but am I the only one who thinks that Keenan Allen is just going to blow up this year with Justin Herbert in his 3rd season? And the way I think Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen and Justin Herbert are the best 1, 2, 3 in the NFL. Is that a crazy statement? George, we'll start with you.
Oh, no, I mean, I'm really big on Keenan Allen. I think he's going to have a tremendous year. Herbert, honestly, I know you're not going to ask this question, but I think Herbert's my pick for if he doesn't win MVP this year, he'll be number 2, I think. He'll be second in the MVP voting. I think he's going to have a hell of a year. Keenan Allen should go for at least 110, 120 receptions. Easy, I think, this year.
So you think they're the best 1, 2, 3, running back, quarterback, wide receiver in the NFL?
I don't know if I will put Eckler that high up. It's close. I mean, he complements that system very well. So if you look at it in the overall, then yeah, you would say that. But how much is he? I mean, how much is he going to? How many touches he's going to get? It's a big question mark.
Eckler's real. Jared, who's your best 1, 2, 3 quarterback, running back, wide receiver? Some people are saying. My friend just texted me: Leonard Fournette, Mike Evans, Tom Brady. I don't know.
You know what? I'm so sick and tired of hearing about that idiot. I'm so sick and tired. He is not God. The last I checked, that chump cannot walk on water. I am so sick of. He is a 45-year-old bum.
Who hate Tom Brady more than you two guys.
Hate him.
I mean, the guy.
I cannot stand his HGH ass.
All of a sudden,
go home, bro. Go home. Your wife wants you.
He retired, then he gets realized, he doesn't want to be around his wife, so he comes back. And all of a sudden now Tampa Bay is the favorite to win the NFC. Like, give me a break. The man is 45 years old. He looks frail. If you look at it, like he's sucking his cheeks in the whole time. And the only reason he's lasted this long is you can't touch him because everyone's afraid of touching God. I am so sick and tired of everyone. And I'm not saying he's not good, but I'm so sick and tired of everyone like drooling over him.
I agree. It's ridiculous. Like the praise this dude gets. How he's the number 1 player in the top 100 is absolutely absurd.
It's stupid.
That is
absolutely absurd.
I would put him in the top 20.
How? I would
He's-
agree. Yeah, I would agree.
I'm sorry.
He's not. They voted him #1 in the NFL at 45 years old.
Because
It's
like the SEC. Everyone's afraid to get him pissed off. That's what it is. You know, you can't. You know, everyone's and I to this day I will not call him the GOAT. He's the best of his era.
Oh, I think Tom Brady just hacked into George's account and kicked him off for not calling him the GOAT. All right, Jared,
He might
who's your best big three? If a quarterback, running back, if it's not the Chargers, who would you say? Quarterback, running back,
Man,
wide receiver. Can you go Burrow, Chase, Mixon?
I was gonna say that's the only other team that I could think of that would be on par with that. And yeah, I don't know. I might have to still give the edge to. I love Eckler personally.
Right.
You know, I'm a big Eckler guy. I think that he creates such mistakes out of the backfield. He's a little spark plug, and he just gets into the end zone. Dude knows how to score. But real quick though, with the Chargers, I don't think. I mean, Keenan Allen's Keenan Allen. He's the best route runner in the NFL. Dude's going to get his touches. Not really the most explosive guy, but he will manufacture touches. Probably get 100 balls. I think the dude you got to look at is the third guy, the third receiver, Josh Palmer.
Yeah.
He's going to get a lot of burn. That dude's going to he's like their stretch the field, go get it. Like I think that dude is going to get 60, 70 catches and have 8 to 10. He's going to surprise some people. So I think he's also a good sleeper in fantasy. So if Andrews listens, you can pick him up.
I know you don't like Michael Thomas, but does he get over 80 catches this year now that he's healthy for the Saints?
But is he healthy though? He's already having hamstring issues, bro.
He'll be fine. I think he'll be fine. Listen,
if he's fine, then of course.
And are you high in fantasy? Because I'm going up against Jared. Are you as high as most people are on Saquon Barkley? Because we know you're not touching Christian McCaffrey no matter what.
I ain't touching Barkley. I ain't touching Barkley. I ain't touching McCaffrey. These dudes all hurt my feelings last couple of years.
If Barkley's available or McCaffrey's available, you got to take them in the first round.
Bro, I got the 10th pick. They're not going to be available, either one of them.
Okay.
Like who? So I'm picking like, come on. I'm end up picking like a fullback or something. I'm so late in the damn round.
So you would. So if you had the first pick, you would not touch McCaffrey if he's available.
Nah, I couldn't, man. I couldn't do it. I told you he literally derailed 2 of my leagues last year. The last 2 years, I should say. 2 separate leagues last 2 years. I picked this dude and it just hurt my feelings. So I can't do it. I'm not going to be able to do it. There's other younger running backs out there. I'll take my chances on, I guess, because I'm tired.
Jared, I am not.
Of course, this year he'll have 117 catches, 24 touchdowns.
And he'll be healthy. Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm not as high on the Buffalo Bills in the AFC as most people are. I think the Dolphins will make the playoffs. I think the Chargers I think the Chiefs with Juju Smith-Schuster are going to be fine. I think the Dolphins are going to be very good. I'm not as high on the Bills as most people, so I don't have them winning the Super Bowl or going to the Super Bowl. Who is your finals in the AFC in the final 2, AFC Championship and NFC Championship? Start with the AFC.
I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the Chargers because they're just so damn loaded on both sides of the ball.
Right.
And I agree with George, too, about the Herbert. I think this dude is going to have a phenomenal season. You see how damn good he is. So I wouldn't be surprised, if he does win the MVP. I don't know right now. All that steam seems to be going to Josh Allen because, people are, like I said, really high on that team. But I believe it or not, to me, I think that it's going to be Chargers-Ravens in the AFC Championship game.
Whoa. Well, I said this to my brother who's a diehard Burrow fan and he roots for Cincinnati. I said, I think they just take a step back because the Ravens are healthy. And I believe that Mitchell Trubisky is better than Big Ben. And I think Pickens is an absolute stud who could be the next Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase. So I think the Steelers will be better. So you agree with me then? You think Cincinnati takes a step back, but still a good team?
Yeah, they're still a good team, but you got to look at so not to take away from them, they had a great year, but they had, I think, 31st easiest schedule in the league last year. Like that matters, bro. That really does matter. This year, you're coming into the second hardest, basically the Super Bowl runner-up schedule. A little different animal. So, you still got a pretty young core. They have some really good players over there. Don't get me wrong. But do they have enough depth again to get back there? Do they have, because you're going to go through like I said, it's a gauntlet now. You're not just going to be the the unforgotten team. People are gonna know when you're coming to town. Like they're gonna get. You're
there's a
gonna get the
big
best
difference
shot.
between being the
Those
hunted
teams
and the
now,
hunter.
it's a exactly, it's a big difference. So I think they take a step back. They still might make it to the playoffs, but I don't see them getting that deep. I'd be surprised.
I'm surprised you recognize that, because as I text you the other day, you used to be an outdoor cat, but now you're getting your milk fed to you, so you don't know what it's like to be hungry anymore because you're domesticated now. So that's really, was that the greatest
You're
video
such
I
an
ever
idiot.
sent? Was that the greatest video I ever
You're
sent you
such
ever? Did you laugh like a
you're
thousand
such an
times
idiot.
watching the video? No, Jared used to be like a wild, crazy, workout all the time. But now, the wife, the kid, he's become domesticated. He doesn't know what it's like
That's
to
all I
hunt
got
for
to
his
know.
food. Okay, so let's
You
bring
might be
on
right about
George.
that.
You have to admit that was a great video that I sent you.
Hey, sorry about that, Monte. I got booted out of here.
No, we thought the Tom Brady fans like attacked you. That's what happens for saying
You
he's
you
not
know
the
what?
GOAT.
I got this to Tom Brady friends. You want to come after me? Bring it on. You guys don't scare me.
I don't know how he was ranked number one. And by the way, people were so pissed off about that. I'm like, who cares? It's rankings. But people got really mad.
Because it's a joke.
Yeah, that list was a
That's
little
why.
ridiculous, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was beyond ridiculous.
All right, George, I just talked to Jared in the AFC. I'm not as high on the Bills as most people are. Who do you have playing in the AFC Championship?
Well, I am high on the Bills. I actually got Buffalo and the Chargers in the AFC Championship this year.
Wow. Okay. All right.
I have,
Now
yeah.
let's move to the NFC, Jared. Who plays in the NFC Championship game? Jared, you're first.
Not necessarily the two best teams. Not necessarily the two best teams, I believe. I think just due to schedule and, the strength of schedule, I think is the most important thing to me in the divisions you play in. I think it'll be the Bucks and the Packers.
See, I'm down on the Packers just because I don't think they're going to be explosive, and I think that the Vikings actually win the division, and the Packers.
I agree.
It's so hard for me to root for Aaron Rodgers because the dude is just a terrible human being. But
And, I was hearing yesterday, a friend of mine, one of the guys I went to the SC game with, is a huge Viking fan. Their story is going out that Adama Suh signing with Minnesota.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, it hasn't been confirmed, but they said that's what it's looking like, that he's going to go to Minnesota.
I think Minnesota wins that division. I mean, am I wrong in thinking this? You look at Carolina, Falcons, Saints, all huge question marks. Tampa Bay, again, Tom Brady came back for a reason, and that reason is that's one of the worst divisions in football. If you look
He
at
came back because his wife kicked him out. That's why. She got, just go back, get out of here. That's why she went to Costa Rica. She was tired of him.
Okay, George. So Jared, who goes to the? Did you tell us who went to the NFC? No, you did not. Who goes to the NFC Championship? Jared froze. George, start with you then. Who goes to the NFC Championship?
Yes, but NFC said you're breaking up. I can't really hear.
Yeah, who goes to the NFC Championship? George, let's start with you.
That
I don't
was
know if your Wi-Fi. I'm off.
It's going to be tough this year in the NFC. Do the Rams have a chance to go back? Yes, they do.
Packers. Yeah, Packers. And,
yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear. You said Packers and who else?
Oh, he went Tampa Bay in the Packers.
No, I think he went.
Not because of their teams, because they're not going to play anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, George, you got the Rams going back?
If they could stay healthy, yes, I have them going back. Health is going to be a big concern. But if they can stay healthy, I see them going back. And, it kind of pains me to say this. Don't be surprised if Minnesota makes it to the NFC Championship game.
I can't. I said this to my friend Andrea yesterday. I said, I trust Kirk Cousins to win 11, 12 games. I don't trust Kirk Cousins on the road down 4 with a minute left.
You know what? Their question mark, I think, is going to be their defense. Right. They were, how many games did they lose in the last minutes last year? They lost quite a few.
Good point.
It wouldn't surprise me. And you know how much I hate the Vikings. I hate them almost as much as I hate Brady. And it wouldn't surprise me if they make the NFC Championship game. But it's kind of hard. I think the NFC is going to be tougher because I think the teams are more. There's going to be more parity in the NFC this year compared to the AFC.
All right. Final question before we let you guys go. Obviously, George, you are living in LA and so much positive going on with your teams. But I will say this, George and Jared. The Mets are number one against top 10 teams in Major League Baseball. The Mets beat the Dodgers 4-3. And George, one of the things that I took away from that last game is coaching. Buck Showalter is such a good coach. And in big games, you don't see the Mets make mental errors. They may make physical errors. But George, the Mookie Betts pop up where he was supposed to call it, and then the ground out where Marte beat the ball out because the guy didn't charge the second baseman. There were a lot of mental errors there, George. And I got to think, you guys being the Dodgers and Jared Braves fan, do you take the Mets as seriously as I do, George? Because I think the Mets can be a very tough out. And I didn't like what I saw with the mental errors with the Dodgers. They have all the
You,
talent in the world, but mentally
you
they
know
were not there that game.
that game, no, and that's very uncharacteristic of the Dodgers. I know we were texting each other on that pop up. I know you said the announcer. I think you said Keith Hernandez said that should have been
Yeah.
Gavin Lux. Like no, Mookie Betts is coming in. That should have been his ball. And yeah, Luck's not hustling on a grounder at second. The Dodgers don't do that. I'm gonna say they had an off day mentally that game. And maybe they're already looking, okay, we're going back home, we got the Padres coming up, who knows. Not to take anything away from the Mets, I think their pitching was tremendous in the last two games. Game one we kind of took it to you guys. But I take the Mets very seriously. You get them in a short series, you got DeGrom, Scherzer, and Bassett in a short series. That is very scary.
Yeah, and listen, they've beaten the Dodgers 4-3. Jared, they've beaten the Braves. I think they've won 5 out of 9, 5-4. They have 3 more games with the Braves. So, Jared, final question: who goes to the World Series? Are you still high on the Braves, or do you think the Dodgers or Mets can overtake them? I'm not big on St. Louis, George. I know Greg is, but I think the Mets will be fine. Jared, who goes to the World Series?
I think the Mets do make.
Oh, really?
I think there's just something magical about this team. It seems like they just the way they. I went to the game a couple of weeks ago. I took my father because obviously biggest Met fan in the world when they played Atlanta, and just some of the fluky stuff that was happening. I'm like, this is a team of destiny, man. Like just the way the balls bouncing off bags and looping off the end of the bat, you're getting RB, like just all these little small things that just keep happening, and it's infection. That team, that good clubhouse, and you can just feel their energy. So that's something I think that can get them going a long way because that momentum can take you a long way. And their pitching's really damn good, I think.
Their pitching's very good, and one of the things I like is there's 3 things that the Mets have done this year that you've never seen the Mets do. They pitched a no-hitter with 5 pitchers, which was insane. They came back in the 9th inning being 7 runs down, which is insane. And I said this from the very first weekend series. Buck Showalter every game is so even keel. He's not like Jared's boy, the head coach of the Detroit Lions, who cries after every loss, and who's just, up and down, like Rex Ryan. Buck Showalter is so even keel and brings a professional approach every game. Don't give me these coaches like the Detroit Lions coach who just constantly cries when his team loses. Like, shut up, dude. George, you're not high on the Mets. You're not high on the Mets.
Buck Showalter is the coach that gets the team better, and he's the bridge to the next coach who will actually get him to win a championship.
The Marty Schottenheimer.
Basically,
right?
yeah. He's a great coach, but he's not a good playoff coach. And that's everywhere he's gone, he's had tremendous success during the regular season. He's not a good playoff coach. And any other year, who knows? But and part of this is hard talking. I just think the Dodgers, from 1 to 25 overall, I think they're the better team. But I think if they do meet up in the playoffs, it's going to be a hell of a series. It will go 7. It's going to be a hell of a series. And, and I've heard people talk. If you had a series, who do you trust? Scherzer, DeGrom, Bassett, or Gonsolin, Anderson, Urias? It's a valid point because, DeGrom and Scherzer, they already have
DeGrom's
that
been
pedigree.
The best pitcher in the major leagues for the last 3 years.
Yeah, but like you told me the other day, he tires after 6.
Because he's been a year off. Yeah. But
Yeah.
Jordan, if you look at the playoffs right now, if the season ended right now, you got to go through Atlanta or Philadelphia. I like the Mets' chances going through San Diego and St. Louis. I have no faith in San Diego. I think the Dodgers beat them last night. What, 12-1?
12-1. Well, San Diego's not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah. So they've
They'll fold it. They'll fold this month.
Yeah.
Milwaukee will take that final spot.
Yes. George is a very spoiled sports fan. We know that.
I wouldn't say spoiled. I went through 2 10-year periods of watching this team suck. Okay? 20 years, almost half of the time I've been a Ram fan, they've sucked.
But George,
so I've
you've
gone
had
through
the
this.
Lakers have Showtime. You've had Kobe. You've had LeBron. You've been very spoiled with the Lakers. You've been very spoiled with the Dodgers.
I was born in the right location. I can't help that.
Trying to get Jared back on here. Hold on. Let's see if we can get him back. Jared. Oh, there you go. Oh, no. All right, George. Thanks so much. How can we follow you? How can we support you? What are you doing for Nuts and Bolts Sports during the NFL season?
Well, during the NFL season, definitely be covering the Rams. Obviously, I'll be doing some Charger stuff as well. Getting the LA teams in here. Andrea's going to love this. I'll cover pretty much every LA team except for that JV basketball team. I refuse to cover them, and that's more, I think, out of spite. So I won't touch them. But I'll be doing the Chargers and the Rams during the season. Obviously, USC football. So. Look for an article coming up pretty soon regarding the Rams. Once after the game Thursday, I'll have an article out of this weekend talking about the Rams. So I should have one up probably maybe Monday or Tuesday next week. I'll have one out. And again, you can follow me on Twitter or at the other George Lopez. I don't know if you saw it. I had being at the SC game yesterday, walking around. I got some video going for Nuts and Bolts Sports.
I definitely saw it. Yeah, I like it. Definitely liked it. George, final question. Start of the season, is Russell Westbrook a Laker, or are they going to move him?
He's going to be a Laker. No one's going to touch that contract. And, there's all these different trade scenarios. I mean, they owe him $47 million. The only one who's dumb enough to take on that contract is Michael Jordan. And even he's not going to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
So, no, he'll be with the Lakers. And, you deal with it for one more year. And after this season, there's only 2 contracts on the books. So the Lakers can really overhaul the roster next season. So we'll have Westbrook. And I agree with you. Let him come off the bench. Let him be the point guard with the second unit, and I think that he would actually do better.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, George, and are they winning? Is your Sun team winning right now?
No, they're down 2-1 in the bottom of the second.
Bottom of the second. All right, George, I appreciate you being on location. It must have been a crazy night and morning for you to be at USC and then come home and have to get up early to go see your son's baseball game. But I know you love watching that. So thank you for taking the time out, and we'll see you down the road.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me on. Peace out, you guys.
Great job by George. Great job by Jared. Great job by Alex. I want to thank all of you for tuning in. Finally, my extra point is just a simple one, guys. We are getting really good numbers of my show. I'm getting really good numbers on TikTok. But one of the things that we are lacking in, and I don't understand why, is the thumbs up and the subscriptions. So I need you guys, okay? If you're watching this show, if you're a frequent guest, again, this is my extra point. I need you guys to call one of your friends, call one of your family members, and say, hey, go to YouTube, give Monte the thumbs up, and subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts Sports YouTube channel. That is the one thing. We are cranking out content. We are getting tremendous hits, not just me on my TikTok page, on my Twitter page, but Nuts and Bolts Sports with content. But I need you guys to bring more people to like and subscribe. Our goal is to hit 1,000 subscribers by mid-football season. So please, again, call one of your friends, call one of your family members. Hey, what are you doing right now? Go to YouTube, subscribe to the Nuts and Bolts YouTube channel, give Monte the thumbs up. That is the only way we are going to be able to do this full time and focus all our energy on providing sports content for you. So please do that. And just a little programming note, starting next Sunday, we will be on at 11 a.m. every Sunday, except one Sunday this season, October 16th. I will not be in the studio here. And we will be on every Monday with Brad Ward and A. Marie doing the recap show. So Sunday we do the preview, and then on Monday we do the recap here on the Full Monty Sports Show. Thank you so much for watching. In the moral words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.